This is the most illegal thing I've ever used in Destiny 2. Just like Crimson and Red Death before it, this Liminal Vigil should be outlawed. What it lacks in whip cracking style, it makes up for by turning the cowboy shit all the way up to 11. It's also as rare as Rocking Horse shit, as it only drops from completions of the final boss encounter in the new Spire of the Watcher dungeon. However, as like any dungeon, the encounters are farmable even after the first completion on any given week. It's an aggressive burst stasis sidearm, coming with that unique and powerful 2 burst fire as standard. I know that sidearms aren't everyone's favourite in PvE, but this bad boy is about to change all of that, especially with the full auto setting and the top tier perks including Perpetual Motion, Tap the Trigger, Swashbuckler and Kill Clip. Yet it's the 275% damage increase that you can essentially get on tap by farming for this specific combo right here. No matter what class you run, you can achieve this huge damage increase, and quite frankly, it's hands down the best sidearm in the game, especially if you've got endgame aspirations. This is the first ever time we've seen Headstone in the 3rd perk column, and it's a particularly potent perk on Liminal Vigil, all because of its burst fire nature. In one burst on a precision final blow, you can effectively trigger Headstone with the first shot in the burst, and then with the second shot in the burst, simultaneously destroy the Headstone crystal. No other stasis weapon in the game can do this, and it's borderline exotic at this point. Then, if you're rocking a stasis subclass and they're using the Whisper of Fissures, you're going to boost the damage caused by this near automatic shattering of the Headstone crystal, dealing huge chunks of damage to any nearby enemy. You've even got the Whisper of Shards, which will boost your grenade cooldown on shattering any stasis crystal, which in turn helps to proc the Whisper of Rending. This absolutely melts any frozen targets with its 40% damage boost or the 100% damage boost it grants to actual stasis crystals. The Whisper of Chains will even grant you an incoming damage reduction in the trenches, and the Whisper of Hedrons is criminally slept on in any stasis build and perfectly complements the stat boost offered by the text balanced stock origin trait. Headstone crystals will typically freeze any nearby target on creating them. Doing so will massively increase tons of stats, but the main one from Hedrons is weapon stability. This helps in part to turn Liminal Vigil into a laser beam, not to mention reducing flinch massively from incoming damage. This is especially important when it comes to the final perk that you should be chasing, and again another unique one, Desperado, and it's the first time that we've ever seen it on a sidearm. It'll boost your rate of fire for 7 seconds to about 420 RPM on reloading after a precision final blow, and this is when you really start to have a rootin' tootin' good time. There's no damage penalty with this perk's increased rate of fire, so technically your DPS goes through the roof too. Chuck Font of Might on after collecting any stasis elemental well, preferably from Melee Well Maker, so that you can trigger Monochromatic Maestro and stack up to a 35% damage boost. Then using Elemental Charge and Surprise Attack, you can stack a further 40% damage boost on top with the Charge Magazine buff, which increases the base damage of Liminal from 3000 to 6000 on a boss. Then with the further 40% rending boost on frozen targets, you'll be getting over 8.6 thousand damage per shot on a boss, a truly insane number for any sidearm, and a ridiculously easy 275% damage boost that you can set up at any given moment. This god roll won't technically get you banned, but this exotic feels like a cheat code this season, and it's the perfect combo to pump out some DPS.